Happy Saturday, grinders. Hope you are having a wonderful weekend. Let's get right to it. Let's go over our recap of Friday and how the week went as a whole. So we got new all-time highs for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq on Friday. 6,600, a nice round 6,600 was the all-time high for S&P 500. It closed at 65.84. Nasdaq's new all-time high, 22,182, but we closed at 22,141. And the Dow didn't hit a new high, but it closed at 45,834. Both the S&P and the Dow closed lower for the day, but the tech-heavy Nasdaq creeped out a gain for the week. Now let's look and see how it went the past 5 days for each index. Remember, they call the index the scoreboard. So for the S&P 500, the S&P was down was positive 1.5% for the week. The Dow was up just shy of 1% for the week, and the big boy, the Nasdaq, was up 2% for the week, ending 9/12. Okay, I did want to go over a little bit of news, and then after that we will dive into the specifics of how our portfolio performed. All right, so we have delays on Apple's new iPhone Air. But don't worry, if you're in the US, you should be able to get your iPhone and Air on time. There is a delay in China due to the new eSIM technology. So Chinese wireless carriers must obtain a government license before offering devices with eSIMs. And so you might be wondering, Claude, what is an eSIM? Well, an eSIM is a digital SIM card that is built directly into a device, eliminating the need for a physical, removable plastic card to connect to a mobile network. I'm sure some of you remember whenever we switch new phones, we had to take out that little card and put it in our new phone. So we don't have to do that anymore with this new technology, this eSIM. But it has to be approved in China, so the rollout of the iPhone Air in China is probably going to be postponed a little bit. I don't think they have a date yet, but information to be aware of. During an interview with Jim Cramer on Mad Money, Apple CEO Tim Cook stated that the eSIMs improve efficiency and extends the battery life. Ditching the physical SIM made room for a larger battery while maintaining the device's slim form. So I'm sure you know by now that iPhone is going to be a lot smaller than this thing, and so they had to rearrange the guts of the device. And so they removed the physical card in order to put a bigger battery. And be mindful, this battery is, how do I want to say this? It's not as powerful as the base iPhone 17 or the Pro or Pro Max. You're also not getting that super strong, super new camera or powerful camera as you would in the iPhone 17 and the Pro and Pro Max versions. So be mindful of that. I do think that the new device is pretty cool. It's slim. It's a slightly different design than we're accustomed to. So let me know in the comments if you're someone you're thinking about picking up a new iPhone Air, or if you like the iPhone 17, or you like the big boy, you like the Max. So let me know in the comments. I know me personally, I like the Air, but I have an old iPhone 12, so anything at this point would be a bonus. I'm personally still going to try to hold out because I think they have those new AI capabilities coming. And so I'm trying to hold out till next year. I think they're going to roll out something even more advanced than that iPhone Air. I know we've heard rumblings of the foldable phone supposed to be coming. That will be cool to have. It's not having a foldable phone isn't something that's going to make me rush out and buy a new phone, but I would like a phone with some updated Siri features. opposed to what Siri is now, which is, I'm surprised she hasn't spoke up and said anything to me. She's kind of like your Amazon Echo or whatever it was. It says to tell the time and create a grocery list and stuff like that. It's doing the bare minimum. Now the technology is updated. We should be able to do a little bit more than that now. So I'm holding out, but let me know if you're getting in any of the new phones. I did want to go over my options. So we'll look over here. So I have options contracts on 6 different equities. One of them's a ETF, QQQ. All the other ones are just individual stocks. So it's NVIDIA, QQQ, Palo Alto, Palantir. Yes, Palantir, I jumped in, Uber, and DraftKings. And if you are a paid member, you would have saw my trade in DraftKings in real time. Not anything short term. I'm holding this contract out until January of next year. So if you want to see me trade real time, see exactly what I'm getting in, exactly when I enter the trade, you definitely want to tune in to the Patreon. It's only $10 a month. A lot of value there. Also created the Fundamental Investing Playbook. So if you don't have any information about buying stocks or getting in the stock market, it should be able to give you enough knowledge and enough confidence, build a strategy out for you so you can open up a company and see exactly whether the company is going to be potentially profitable and has a lot of growth for the years to come. So we look at the past, how stocks are performing, and we look like current day to project how they might be performing, how the share price might be performing in the future. And I give you all of those strategies, all of that information in the playbook, and this is all in for $10 a month. So it's really hard to beat. Plus, I'm in there every day posting, sharing information. You can always reach out to me and I'll help you whatever you need. So take advantage of that. But let's get into options performance. So it won't show me here on the desktop version, but I do have it pulled up on my phone. And I posted on my socials as well. So make sure you follow me on Instagram, on Threads, and if you want on Facebook as well. But for the past week, this is not realized gains. This is not money that we've either bought and sold or whatever the case may be. These are not realized gains. This is just the movement in our portfolio. So in our options contracts this past week, we're up $4,471. And on Friday, our account moved $784. So not bad. We actually broke a streak. We had a 2-week losing streak. And it was nice to break that. So we came out positive last week. And last week, we sold some of our Apple contracts. So it gave us unrealized gains, $2,000 in profit off of those contracts last week. So not bad. And also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Without jinxing, since the month of April, we've had positive months for the month of April, May, June, July, August, and now September is positive for us. Hopefully we make it another positive month. So stock market is treating us well. And so here are the positions we hold. DraftKings, this is actually down more than it's actually showing, unfortunately. It has us calculated because we've bought contracts and sold contracts and we're still holding some. I'll calculate it myself. It has us as our average contract cost about $300. Well, it actually costs $400. So this loss is actually greater. But we are confident we'll get that back plus some. If not, we don't have a ton in this DraftKings play, so we're okay. QQQ has been doing well for us. We haven't held that too long, but the contract's up 41%. Profits of just under $3,000 with that, so that's awesome. Palantir, this is one other one we got in not too long ago. This one's up 20%, up $700. NVIDIA is our heaviest. I can take you to another screen. We'll come here. And so I write down everything. And so this broken down basically states that NVIDIA, we have just under 13,000 invested in NVIDIA options contracts. Next is QQQ at 7,000. Under that is Palo Alto with just under 5,000. So it just gives you an idea how much conviction we have in those NVIDIA contracts. We are heavy NVIDIA. This contract's up 29%, $785 of profit so far. These two NVIDIA contracts down here, I have them out until 2027. One of them expires in January 2027. The other expires in December 2027. So I'm holding these boys long term. Their strike price is $200. So I'm being very advantageous in this. I definitely think NVIDIA will hit 200 sooner or later. Both of those contracts are down. We're losing less than $1,000 in those contracts combined. Palo Alto, we've also bought and sold out of this contract, so it says we're up 66%. It's not quite as much. I can give you a idea real quick. This one's up about 55%. So not too far off from where it's stating. So not up 2,700, probably up about $2,000 or so in that one. Uber, another one we've bought and sold out of. That one's probably up maybe about 15%, so not bad. And that's about it for options contracts. I did want to share, and this is the last thing before we close. Long-term investing is our bread and butter. You always want to have long-term investing on your mind and not just focused on trading. And even when you trade, when you sell and either you want to cash out some of that money for whatever the case may be, definitely when you're cashing out or when you want to move money, the money from your options, the profits from your options, move some of that money into your long-term investing and keep investing long-term. Your long-term, again, is going to be your foundation. In options, you're going to keep building off of that. Try to withdraw the least amount of money out of those contracts as possible, or out of that portfolio as possible, so you can continue to buy more and more contracts and level it up. But I did want to share, we bought Microsoft around $500. I think it's around 509 or so. I think it's still a good price to get into Microsoft, so put that on your watch list and maybe consider doing some research and investing in Microsoft right now. Netflix. I will give you this. I put it in the paid, but I'll also share this with you. Our price target, if it falls to $11.50, that is a price that we're excited to jump at. Maybe it's about 3% away from hitting that $11.50, and maybe even less than that. But even right now, just under $1,200, I think if you don't have any Netflix at all, it might be a price you might want to consider jumping in. Yes, it's not cheap for one share of a company, but Netflix is a leader in the space, in the streaming space. There is a little bit of competition. There's a team considering buying Warner Brothers, Paramount Skydance, I think is the company, and their son is the son of Larry Ellison, who is the founder of Oracle. I'm pretty sure I'm getting these names right. If I butchered it, I apologize. But Larry Ellison, the owner of Oracle, his wealth just skyrocketed this past week because Oracle stock skyrocketed. So he may be the richest man in the world. But his son, who I believe owns Paramount Skydance, is considering buying Warner Brothers and all of their streaming and all of their intellectual property and everything, which could be a big competitor, would create a big media company to compete against Netflix. So Netflix stock has been dropping, as well as some other mixed information that's been out there. But we like the pullback. We like Netflix long term. We hold it long term ourselves. So definitely consider some Netflix stock as well as CrowdStrike. Now I like it below $400, but right now it's at $4.35. It's not a terrible price. We bought just one little share. Nothing crazy, but to start a position here. We like how the chart looks, and it's definitely a cybersecurity is an industry that is much needed. And so we have Palo Alto, who is a major player in cybersecurity space, but CrowdStrike is also a big player as well as Microsoft. So definitely consider getting some shares of CrowdStrike. All right, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Saturday. Appreciate you rocking with me. Again, if you're interested in options, I am working on free class that will be on YouTube. Your basics. It's going to be free on YouTube. And then if you get in, you start getting excited and you say, yes, I want to jump in, but I kind of want someone to kind of hold my hand a little bit more. You can jump into the Patreon. It's only $10 per month. $10 per month. So look out for the options course and look out for the Patreon. Consider jumping in the Patreon. Enjoy your weekend.